grant of clemency. I hope that President Biden will also issue preemptive pardons to all of those people threatened by the injustice of what will become the Department of Justice in the Trump administration. That, of course, includes Jack Smith and all of his staff.
Stop there. I could not develop a title strong enough today to express to you my anger for what is now surfacing. Pardon me. Rumors are swirling that Biden's holding a trump card. And if he was to play this trump card, all hell is going to break loose in D.C. because no one on Capitol Hill can possibly accept what he is proposing to do, what he is being asked to do within the inner walls of the White House right now. This is a story I'm going to bring you, and so much more, in just a minute. So let's roll into that story. Give a pardon to Jack Smith. Are we so sure? Just give a pardon. DOJ briefs House GOP on internal inquiry into Jack Smith's misconduct allegations. Here's the document. Mr. Jeffrey Ragsdale, counsel to him. On May 6, 2024, we wrote you to request documents related to the OPR's investigation into allegations that Special Counsel Jack Smith and his team lied to a federal court, manipulated evidence seized by the Federal Bureau of Investigations during its Mar-a-Lago raid, and improperly pressured a lawyer representing a defendant indicted by Smith. In part, they intentionally sought to impose an unprecedented excessive prison sentence upon a criminal defendant and then spread false conspiracy theories when a supervisor overruled his recommendation. On top of that, during your November 19th briefing to the committee, you confirmed that your office opened an investigation in the Special Counsel Jack Smith's office in June 2023. But what happened? Nothing. Although they self-reported themselves, you had all the evidence you needed. You sidebarred it. And why? Because it could have stopped your Trump prosecutions. But we're to just hand a pardon to Jack Smith and his entire team. Hey, mea culpa, guys, it's fine. Thank you for the years on top of years of unjust litigation of Donald J. Trump, investigation of Donald J. Trump, intrusion into Donald J. Trump's life, but here's your pass. You have anger? You have no idea. But this is going to be breaking out everywhere. It's breaking out for every Trump cabinet appointee, and now they're just going to straight false claims. This is on Joy Reid. Listen here, and the reason I'm playing it is not for what she has to say. I'm playing it so you could see what Kash Patel's response was. And this is how they have to respond to each and every one of these events if they ever stop to hope to stop this onslaught.
I worked with Kash in the White House. I was Vice President Mike Pence's counterterrorism advisor. So I had to coordinate with Kash a lot. Kash Patel is a delusional liar. Let me just be very clear about that. And he would lie about intelligence. He would lie about making things up on operations. I think Mark Esper has talked about that as well, where he put the lives of Navy SEALs at risk in an operation when it came to Nigeria.
And that tripped Kash off. Oh, I'm so happy you work for Mike Pence. I mean, we're all going to take your opinion very seriously, said no one ever. And you will never hear that on this broadcast. But here's the lawsuit going out to the lady on your screen, Olivia Troy, to be more specific. We represent Kash Patel. On December 2nd, 2024, you appeared as a live guest on MSNBC. The clip I just showed you, they referenced the exact statements that I just played for you. This is a complete fabrication. I'll go bigger screen so you can see this. A complete fabrication, and you know it is false by virtue of your former position in the White House. At no point did Mr. Patel ever lie about national intelligence, place Navy SEALs at risk, or misinform the vice president. Not only did you have actual knowledge of the falsity of this smear, but you also did so with malicious intent of degrading his character and cynical self-promotion. You want to appear important. Well, your importance now has a lawsuit thrown on you to ask you to retract the statement, but rather than retract, no, you're going to push this further. You don't believe that this legal counsel is going to continue to pursue you, which they will. Instead, you come out on your X thread and state, today Kash Patel sent a letter to my consul, threatening legal action and demanding that I retract my comments on MSNBC about his unfitness to serve as FBI director. This aligns with his threats against the media and political opponents, revealing how he might conduct himself if confirmed in the role. I stand by my statements. So why me? And so it all begins. No, you began it. Kash did not. That was your choice to put the statement out. It was not his, but this is what they're going to do. Delusional. Chad Chronister updating that story also from yesterday. Before we get to what I am just irate about right now. So Chad Chronister had pulled his nomination. He was nominated by President real Donald Trump to serve as administrator of the DEA, but I'm backing out. Trump said, not so fast. You and the Wall Street Journal seem to have your headlines all mixed up. He didn't pull out. I pulled him out because I did not like what he said to my pastors and other supporters. Well, Trump, then why'd you nominate him? Just a question. Why did you nominate him in the first place? Were you moving too quickly? Did someone not give you information? Did they give it later? These are questions that need to be asked. We have to be very careful right now. Very careful because they are coming down on everyone. There's a ton of headlines. I know, I told you. I promised you that I'm going to bring you all these headlines so you don't have to do the research. You don't have to get a million notifications like I do on my phone daily. No, we'll sort through them. We'll bring you the important ones. I need your support to continue to do that. For all of those yesterday, super thanks. Thank you so much for the support. It's truly, I'm audience funded. I have no sponsors or advertisers. I'm beholden to no one but you. But without you, I don't exist. So if you're on the public platforms, you'll have a membership here you can join. Or if you want more news, because I hate asking for anything for free, on work day and night for you, I'll give you more news at Restricted Republic. And not only me, Lisa Haven will too. It's the platform we created. No advertisers, no sponsors, no commercials, no interruptions on RestrictedRepublic.com. On top of all that, I'll give you discount code Independence, $4 a month for 2 years, plus 14 days for free. We don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, but we'll invest in you to get you there, because once you're there, you'll go nowhere else for your news and matters. 14 days free again. Cancel anytime. Go to your dashboards. That's simple. Because again, this news is audience funded. Without audience funding, it goes away. So if you like what I'm doing, please support me today. But now let's get tripping back into the rest of the story. We got a lot to cover because Pete Hegseth saga continues forward. Allegedly yesterday, opposition to his appointment, potentially Ron DeSantis was going to take his place. Well, Hegseth came out, had a little bit to say. We're going to let him speak for himself here.
Have you had any conversations with the president-elect about you replacing you with Governor DeSantis?
I spoke to the president-elect this morning. He said, keep going, keep fighting. Behind you all the way.
So you're in this all the way.
Why would I back down? I've always...
Trump told me, keep fighting, keep in it. So you're in this all the way? All the way. Why would I back down? I appreciate that, because you got to stand up against these allegations. He had more to say.
Process to go through and meet with senators and talk to them, especially members of the Senate Armed Services Committee, whose passion is the Defense Department, and our warfighters, to hear what they want to do to make sure that department is properly oriented for the threats of the world and make sure that we're putting the warfighters first. That's what Donald Trump asked me to do. Wonderful process.
All right, sorry about that. Backed up a little bit too far. Wait, you want warfighters to be warfighters? What a novel thought, huh? It's a great thought. It's what we need. Initiatives won't change anything. Agendas won't change anything. We have to be the paramount military in the world to preserve our rights and freedoms. And Pete Hegseth has impressed me more every day. But remember, 0 Senate GOPers privately oppose. 0. Except for when you ask John Cornyn the question if he supports Pete Hegseth.
Did you discuss Pete Hegseth with Bondi? Did you discuss Pete Hegseth with Bondi?
No. Are you comfortable that he...
There's the answer you get. John Cornyn, Republican in name only, the Rhino nomenclature. Pete Hegseth trying to rebuild our military to be the badass military it needs to be to defend against these psychotics in the world. But nah, why would we want to support him? We got to come up with some more smear stories, but he wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only Rhino in center stage yesterday. No, Mitt Romney was delivering his farewell address. Bye-bye, Mitt. bye-bye. Please and thank you. But he didn't go out without taking a parting shot at Donald J. Trump.
There are some today who would tear at our unity, who would replace love with hate, who deride our foundation of virtue, or who debase the values upon which the blessings of heaven depend.
Debase our virtue. Because it was virtuous to attack Donald J. Trump for years now in unstoppable litigation. It was virtuous to pardon Hunter Biden but allow the J6ers to stay in jail. That's virtuous. There's no virtue. Virtue needs to be reestablished. So Mitt Romney again. Bye. Exit stage left. Please don't let us hear from you again. Things need to change. But this is, again, so many stories. I know I've went from rhino to Mike Johnson. I know I can't stop taking shots, man. I don't like Mike Johnson. I never will like Mike Johnson. But he found somewhere yesterday, there's a little spine in there, wiggles around a little bit, to announce that there will be no more aid to Ukraine until the new commander-in-chief is in place, because we, the people, have spoken. Bravo. What took you so long? Why did I have to continue to read headlines about more aid going to Ukraine when that's all you had to say? The job's not too tough. But you got to have a spine to do it, Mike. Mike also announces, and this is amazing how much traction this is getting, DOGE is coming to Capitol Hill to discuss major reform ideas. Administrative reductions, cost savings, revive the principle of limited government. I'm behind this 100%. And many said, oh, it's only Republicans. They're the only ones who are creating caucuses for this, the only ones who are supporting it. Not so fast. Not so fast. Democrat teases plans as he joins forces with Elon Musk. Representative Jared Moskowitz announced Tuesday that he would join the congressional caucus, which will coordinate lawmakers with DOGE, President-elect Trump's newly created department. Today, I will join the congressional DOGE caucus because I believe that streamlining government processes and reducing ineffective government spending should not be a partisan issue. My hats are off to you. Thank you for realizing this is not partisan. Thank you for realizing that this affects all we the people, each and every one of us. If we do not cut government spending, we will never, ever get out of the suppression and the control of an overblown U.S. government. And we will never truly have our freedoms back. So hats off again. If you want to learn more, I'll put a link below. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy put this out. I know it's Wall Street Journal. Well, it doesn't matter because they wrote it. Their plan to reform government. I won't read it to you. It's too long, but I'm going to leave a link below, or I'll leave it on the top of the reference box so you can get in there. Get in and read it. It's actually really, really good reading. We had the Supreme Court yesterday hearing on the healthcare ban for transgender minors, and it appears they're going to rule in the right way. However, after hearing arguments in the second major transgender rights case, the Supreme Court seems likely to uphold Tennessee's ban on gender affirming care for minors. The justice's decision will not be reached for several months, could affect similar laws enacted by another 25 states. This is a monster case, but we, of course, are never disappointed by the Supreme Court now, are we? Brown Jackson came out. Listen to what she compares the ban on sex changes to within her statement.
By the statute. That was sort of like the starting point. The question was whether it was discriminatory because it applied to both races and it wasn't, necessarily invidious or whatever. But, as I read the statute here, the case here, the court starts off by saying that Virginia is now one of 16 states which prohibit and punish marriages on the basis of racial classifications.
That was the comparison she drew. John G. Brown Jackson just compared ban on sex changes for kids to bans on interracial marriage. I'm not lying. Her words, not mine. But she wasn't the only one.
Risk. And the question of how many minors have to have their bodies irreparably harmed for unproven benefits is one that is best left.
I'm sorry, Counselor. Every medical treatment has a risk. Even taking aspirin.
The risk of transgender surgery is comparable to the risk of taking aspirin. I'm looking for any sense and sensibility anywhere that remains. Dumbfounding statement. It's time to retire. No, and no. But yes, I'm Peter Navarro, serving his prison sentence after his contempt prosecution. Well, now Donald J. Trump's bringing him back to serve as senior counselor for trade and manufacturing. I promise you, for a lot more than that. That's Trump's way of, well, putting a big middle finger in the air. From Big House to White House. Peter Navarro, he deserves that. He stood his ground. The UnitedHealthcare saga, I'm going to let this develop a bit further. However, some breaking news about the, I'm just going to call it what it is, what appears to be an assassination of Brian Thompson, their CEO. Now the DOGE, by the way we find out, had just launched a probe into UnitedHealth for insider trading and attempted to stop the monopoly. We'll see how this all plays out, but it was an interesting little twist. We don't know if Brian Thompson was wrapped up in that investigation, but I will find out and I will bring it to you. But now, just sit back. If you have anything fragile around you, get rid of it. If you have anything you could throw through a wall, move it aside. Because what's being discussed, this is Politico, by the way, Biden White House is discussing preemptive pardons for those in Trump's crosshairs. Preemptive pardons. Allegedly, if you didn't commit a crime, we're going to go ahead and pardon you anyway. Biden reaches in his pocket. He's looking at this Trump card. He doesn't know if he wants to throw it on the table yet or not. Not quite sure what to do, but he is being asked to do it. And when you see the names who are being suggested, President Joe Biden senior aides are conducting a vigorous internal debate over whether to issue preemptive pardons to a range of current and former public officials who could be targeted with President-elect Donald Trump's return to the White House, according to senior Democrats familiar with discussions. Biden's aides are deeply concerned about a range of current and former officials who could find themselves facing inquiries and even indictments. A sense of alarm which only accelerates since Trump last weekend announced the appointment of Kash Patel, and all of a sudden they run into Joe. Joe, we need help, man. If he digs into this, what's going to happen to us? You have to protect us. We would sure hate to face any justice if we did anything illegal. Not saying they did or didn't. Just creating a scenario for you here. But if they did, just simply throw a pardon over us so they can't come after us. And who have they named as potential? Well, this is a big blanket. It extends beyond these people also. That's the really intriguing part of this story. Those who could face exposure include such member of Congress, January 6th committee as Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney. Trump had previously said Cheney should go to jail along with the rest of the unselected committee. Well, if they committed any illegalities within the prosecutions or investigations of the committee, shouldn't they face justice? Shouldn't that be a simple question? But then they put the name on there, which I went ballistic over. Also mentioned by Biden's aides for a pardon is Anthony Fauci. Seriously. No. Absolutely no. But President George H.W. Bush's intervention to spare former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger and Bill Clinton's pardon of financier and donor Mark Rich seemed quaint compared with what Biden officials are grappling with. Do you think it's quaint? And this has support. Senator Markey urges Biden to issue preemptive pardons for ahead of Trump's inauguration. I think that without question, Trump is going to try to act in a dictatorial way, in a fascist way, in a vengeful way towards individuals who he believed harm him. How about those that actually committed illegalities potentially? You think we should be concerned about that, or we should just throw a pardon out for everything, stop all investigations, let everybody fly free? Don't. I actually had to sit back. I edited that part out. I did. Because I started cursing, yelling. Because I know where the story is about to go to and who else is on that list and who else is being discussed. If it's clear by January 19th that revenge is his intention, then I would recommend to President Biden that he provide those preemptive pardons to people, because that's really what our country is going to need next year. We're going to need a level of injustice is what's being called for. The next Biden pardons may matter more. Don't stop with Hunter. As a matter of fact, on Breitbart here, Biden weighs preemptive pardons for Cheney, Schiff, Fauci, others. Oh, but the story goes on. It gets better. Does it concern me that revenge would be part of her mission? Of course it does. Senator Amy Klobuchar told ABC News in late November in relation to Pam Bondi, Democrats' immediate elite list that those deserving of a preemptive pardon are Christopher Wray, Joe Biden himself, the whole Biden family, Liz Cheney, Mark Milley, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Kinzinger, and others. Just give everyone a free pass. Did Donald J. Trump get a free pass? Did he get a free pass for anything? This is a level of hypocrisy this country has never seen. But Joe Biden himself, you can't make this up. It includes President Biden himself.
Although we don't know that anyone can legally pardon themselves, he will need a pardon because he is going to be harassed and charged for no crimes whatsoever.
Well, doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound familiar? It's okay for Donald J. Trump because he's political opposition, but it's not okay for Biden. When I read this story, I lost it this morning. The truth about the growing Hunter Biden pardon scandal. Joe Biden is thus left with only one play. Pardon everyone the Hunter Biden pardon scandal touches. Pardon everyone the Hunter Biden pardon scandal touches. Actually, I did read it right. It just sounds weird. Including himself. He could close the door on federal prosecutions for all of those people going forward. But there is one potential weakness for the current president under such a plan. It is unclear whether a president can pardon himself. The father of the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, George Mason, openly worried that a president might abuse the pardon power by conspiring to commit crimes, then pardoning everyone, including himself. Wow. You'd think our forefathers thought about this, but let's just violate all that. Another framer of the Constitution, Edmund Randolph, expressed a similar concern. They certainly believed the president could issue a self-pardon. However, no president has ever done it, but why not stop now? So if you're like me, after hearing this, you're going to lose your ever-loving mind, and you should. This isn't justice. This is broad brush pardoning of any investigations that Trump could do, of everyone who could possibly be investigated. And that is legitimately what they're requesting. How could this ever be allowed? Talk about almost admitting guilt for this even to be discussed. With what you did to Donald J. Trump and everyone that knew him, to what you did to every J6er, and now suddenly, you're going to illustrate the greatest degree of hypocrisy this great Republic of the United States has ever seen, bar none. And man, I'm telling you, I will continue to cover this for you because this story cannot be forgotten. Everyone needs to hear it. A lot of people don't even realize it's happening behind the scenes. I love you all. Can't thank you enough for being here today. I had to sit back, just take a deep breath, chill out. My face was turning red. I think I threw a few things. I hope you didn't. But man, I can't thank you all enough for being here again. I love y'all, each and every one of you. Thank you for all your support. There is so much more news that we're going to be bringing because things are just getting started. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.